Fiat Automobiles S.p.A. is the largest automobile manufacturer in Italy, producing Fiat-branded cars, and is a subsidiary of FCA Italy S.p.A., which is part of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. Fiat Automobiles S.p.A. was formed in January 2007 when Fiat reorganized its automobile business, and traces its history back to 1899 when the first Fiat automobile was produced. Presence: Europe. Fiat's main market is Europe, mainly focused in Italy. Historically successful in city cars and super-mini sector. Currently Fiat has a range of models focused on those two segments. Fiat does not currently offer any large family car, nor an executive car. Fiat's share of the European market shrank from 9.4% in 2000 to 5.8% in the summer of 2004. At this point Sergio Marchionne was appointed as Fiat chief executive. By March 2009 the market share had expanded back to 9.1%. Fiat's built the 5-story Lingotto plant in 1915 through 1918. At the time it was Europe's largest car manufacturing plant. Later the Mirafiori plant was built, also in Turin, to prepare for production of the all-new Fiat 128. Fiat opened the Rivalta plant in October 1968. Until the 128 could enter production, the plant was used to build sports versions of the 850 and 124 as well as parts for the Fiat Dino. Fiat's current range of passenger car engines comprises 11 units, 8 petrols and 3 diesels. Current range of models is the following: City car, Fiat 500, Fiat Panda; Supermini, Fiat Punto; Compact car, Fiat Tipo; Mini MPV, Fiat 500L; Large MPV, Fiat Fremont; Mini SUV, Fiat 500X. Fiat sales of 2011 were up to 676.704. Light commercial vehicles are sold in Europe under the brand Fiat Professional. South America. Fiat has invested for a long time in South America, mainly in Brazil and in Argentina. They built the first Brazilian car plant at Belo Horizonte in 1973, after having begun by building tractors there. The Brazilian range is similar to European one, with the addition of a special family which derives from a common platform: Fiat Palio, Fiat Palio Weekend, Fiat Palio Adventure, Fiat Siena, Fiat Gran Siena. Recently a brand new model developed in Brazil has been launched, the Fiat Uno. Other European models are currently imported to Brazil: Fiat 500, Fiat Fremont. Some others are still in production: Fiat Punto, Fiat Idea, Fiat Bravo and Fiat Linea. Fiat sells in Brazil under the Fiat brand. European Fiat Professional light commercial vehicles as Fiat Strada, developed in Brazil, has the same platform of Fiat Palio and Fiat Siena. Previous versions of European Fiat Doblo, Fiat Doblo Cargard, Fiat Fiorino, and Fiat Ducato. The old European Fiat Uno van called here Fiat Uno Fergau. United States. Fiat has a long history in United States. In 1908, the Fiat Automobile Co. was established in the country and a plant in Poughkeepsie, NY, began producing Fiats a year later, like the Fiat 60HP and the Fiat 1620HP. These luxury cars were produced long before Chrysler Corp. was formed in 1925 from older manufacturers that were acquired by Walter P. Chrysler, the founder. The New Jersey factory was closed when the United States entered into World War I in 1917. Fiat returned to North America in the 1950s, selling the original 500, Fiat 600 Multipla, Fiat 1100, Fiat 1200, and the Fiat 1300. The company name Fiat was sometimes used as a jocular backronym for "Fix It Again, Tony," referring to poor reliability and problems, such as rust, which some Fiat owners in the United States encountered in the 1970s and 1980s with the Fiat 124 Sport Spider and the Fiat by 1/9. Partly as a result, Fiat sales in the U.S. fell from a high of 100,511 cars in 1975 to 14,113 in 1982. In 1983, Fiat left the United States car market with a reputation for poor quality cars in North America. In January 2009, the Fiat Group acquired a 20% stake in U.S. automaker Chrysler LLC. The deal saw the return of the Fiat brand to North America after a 25-year absence. The first Fiat-branded model to appear in the U.S. was the internationally popular Fiat 500 city car. The Fiat 500 model is built at Chrysler's assembly plant in Toluca, Mexico, which currently makes also the Dodge Journey and Fiat Fremont crossovers. Fiat is also selling the commercial vehicles in North America, rebranded as Ram ProMaster and Ram ProMaster City. Africa. Fiat passenger cars began assembly in South Africa in 1950, and full production in the Roslyn plant commenced in 1966. Sales reached a peak market share of about 5% around 1970 but then dropped precipitously. A new 128-based half-ton pickup truck helped turn the situation around. Asia. Fiat's presence in Chinese market is limited compared to its European, Japanese, Korean and American rivals. At the beginning of 2012, Fiat was only importing Fiat Bravo and Fiat 500 model. However, in 2012 Fiat and GAC opened a joint venture plant to produce the first Fiat vehicle specifically developed for Chinese market ever, the Fiat Viaggio, a compact car derived by another model of Fiat S.p.A. Group, the Dodge Dart. Fiat currently offers to Japanese consumers the 500 in both coupe and convertible body styles, and the Panda. Both vehicles are in compliance with Japanese government dimension regulations, affording the Japanese public to purchase a non-Japanese vehicle, without having to pay an annual tax for driving a car that exceeds the regulations. Fiat is also present in the Indian market since 1948. Current presence is in joint venture with Tata Motors, although current car sales are niche market and limited. Current production. Western countries markets models A segment Fiat 500. The Fiat 500 is a car produced by the Fiat Company of Italy between 1957 and 1975, with limited production of the Fiat 500K estate continuing until 1977. The car was designed by Dante Giacosa. Redesigned in 2007, it is currently distributed worldwide. S-segment Fiat Panda. The Fiat Panda is a city car from the Italian automotive manufacturer Fiat. Current version is the third one distributed as from 2012. B-segment Fiat Punto. The third-generation Fiat Super Mini to bear the name Punto, codenamed Project 199. The Grande Punto was unveiled at the 2005 Frankfurt Motor Show and went on sale later that year. Styled by Giugiaro, the car is based on the Fiat GMS CCS platform, whilst the model shares some of its name with the previous Punto. A large number of its components are new, including a new chassis and body shell. After facelift in 2009, it was named as Punto Evo and sold as bear Punto name. M-segment Fiat 500L. The Fiat 500L enlarges, as from September 2012, the Fiat 500 family with a mini MPV which replaced the Fiat Idea. The model is produced in the new Fiat plant in Serbia. The platform is the same of the Fiat Punto J segment Fiat Fremont, introduced in 2011 to replace Fiat Multipla and, according to the manufacturer, also the last version of the Fiat Croma. It is a rebadging of the Dodge Journey, following the cooperation with Chrysler. Emerging markets C segment Fiat AEGEA. Emerging markets Fiat Palio. The Fiat Palio is a super mini designed by Fiat as a world car aimed at developing countries. The Palio Weekend is a small family car station wagon, an extended version of the hatchback Palio. Fiat Siena. The Fiat Siena is the four-door sedan version of the Fiat Palio, a small family car especially designed for developing countries. The car is similar to Fiat Albi. European Cars of the Year. The European Car of the Year award has been awarded 12 times to the Fiat Group over the last 40 years, more than any other manufacturer. 9 of these awards were won by Fiat Automobiles models. Fiat models awarded the title 1967 Fiat 124, 1970 Fiat 128, 1972 Fiat 127, 1984 Fiat Uno, 1989 Fiat Tipo, 1995 Fiat Punto, 1996 Fiat Bravo, 2004 Fiat Panda, 2008 Fiat 500. CO2 emissions. Fiat Automobiles, one of Europe's 10 best-selling automotive brands, has for the second year running been confirmed as having the lowest average value for CO2 emissions from vehicles sold in 2008 to 133.7 grams per kilometer. This was corroborated by JATO, a provider of automotive data. Electric vehicles. Fiat started development of electric vehicles back in the mid-1970s, with the concept Fiat by 1/23. More recently in 2008, Fiat showed the Fila concept and the Fiat Bugster concept in Brazil. Fiat joined utility companies Semig and Itaipu to develop new electric vehicles for Brazil, with production in 2009 of the Palio Weekend Electric. Fiat launched the electric 500e in California in 2013, but no sales planned for Europe. Fiat CEO Sergio Marchionne claimed in 2014 that each one sold was at a loss of $14,000. Concept vehicles. Motorsport. In 1971 the Fiat 124 Sports Spider was prepared for the World Rally Championship when Abarth became involved with its production and development, and from 1972 he had relative success with 2 wins in 1972, 1 in 1973 and 1 first, second and third in the 1974 Portuguese Tab Rally. The Fiat 131 Abarth was a very successful rally car, replacing the 124. Between 1976 and 1981 the Fiat 131 won 18 World Rally Championship events, and winning the WRC 3 times, in 1977, 1978, and in 1980. Lancia took over the role of motorsport for the Fiat Group during the 1980s, after a long break of factory-supported entries. In 2003 a Fiat Punto S1600 won the Italian Rally Championship, and 2006 the Fiat Grande Punto S2000 won the FIA European Rally Championship, followed by 3 successive wins in 2009, 2010 and 2011. Marketing. Logo. The Fiat initials was first used in the distinctive logo form 1901. Beginning in 1931, the company began using a single red shield without a wreath. In 1968, the rhomboid logo was introduced, which featured the Fiat initials spelled out on 4 interconnected rhombuses. The rhomboid was slowly phased in during the early 1970s, although the older laurel wreath-style Fiat badge was used to denote sporting models such as the 124 Spider, 127 Sport, by 1/9 and the tuned Abarth models. A new corporate nose based on the rhomboid logo was first introduced in 1983 on the Uno, which consisted of 5 chrome bars inclined at an angle of 18 degrees to mirror the rhomboid, which usually appeared in reduced size at the corner of the grille. In 1999, the wreath-styled logo was reintroduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the company. Motor Village and flagship stores. Fiat launched its Motor Village flagship stores concept in 2006 with its Mirafiori Motor Village in Turin, followed by London's flagship store in Wigmore Street opening in 2008 and Paris opening in 2010 on the Champs-Élysées. BSM Fiat deal. In 2009, BSM ended a 16-year relationship with Vauxhall Motors and signed a deal with Fiat UK to swap its learner vehicle from the Vauxhall Corsa to the new Fiat 500. Fiat UK will supply 14,000 cars to BSM over 4 years in a marketing deal.